And it's another complication when talking about these Syrian rebels. Who are they? Do they all share the same motives? Can the U.S. trust them? A good time for a segment we like to call Explain This to Me. Joining me now is Andrew Tabler, Senior Fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, who has traveled to Syria and met with the rebels. He's also author of In the Lion's Den, an eyewitness account of Washington's battle with Syria. So, Andrew, thanks for being here again. Explain this to me. We know that the Syrian rebels are not one uniform group, but how different are these different groups? How cooperative are the alliances?
Yeah, Syrian groups vary by location in the country. They also vary in terms of nationalist ideology, as well as more Islamist and sometimes jihadist ideology, right? So it's a completely atomized structure. Many of the fighters actually fight on a very local level, like Minutemen during the American Revolution. So it's a very complicated situation. It's also extremely complicated to deal with them because there are so many voices among the opposition.
And when Senator John McCain goes to Syria, as he did this week, and he meets with rebels, who is he meeting with?
Yeah, primarily he met with General Salim Idris, the head of the Supreme Military Council, which is a sort of association of a number of those in the opposition that have been vetted by the United States and Arab intelligence agencies, and it's that body that has been used to funnel assistance, and in some cases weapons from other countries, into Syria to support the rebels. It's the armed affiliate of what's called SOC, the Syrian Opposition Coalition.
Right, so these are the respectable opposition.
The ones we know about. Now, within the structure itself, though, it's complicated. Some of them are nationalists in this structure. Some of them are Salafists, which are harder to deal with. And we believe it's some of those Salafists that, when the weapons are...
Those are extreme Islamists.
Exactly, yeah. on the further right end of the spectrum, that sometimes the weapons supplied via their units end up into the hands of extremists. So,
and when you say extremists, do you mean the al-Nusra Front?
Yes, Jabhat al-Nusra, the Nusra Front.
And they are considered to be a front group or an alias for al-Qaeda in Iraq.
That's correct, and they actually joined together with al-Qaeda Iraq in April, and now they're one unit, and it's a rising force among the Syrian Sunni Arab opposition, and it's a real worry for Washington and makes arming the rebels much more complicated.
And the U.S. considers them, as of December, I think, to be a terrorist organization.
That's correct.
The UN Security Council, tough to get them to agree on anything, but they consider them to be an alias for al-Qaeda in Iraq.
Absolutely, and there's a general concern. In each one of these different areas of Syria, regime-controlled areas, the Sunni Arab-controlled areas, and the Kurdish areas, we have not only do we have terrorist groups which are present, they're actually ascendant. Hezbollah in the regime-controlled areas, the Nusra Front in the Sunni Arab areas, and then the local branch of the Kurdistan Workers' Party out in the Kurdish areas. Very complicated.
Right. It is complicated. I understand it a little bit better now, a little bit better, but thank you so much, Andrew Tabler. Appreciate it, as always, for coming and trying to explain this very complicated situation.
My pleasure.